nice matte black and straight on the sides, just to get the dents pulled out. You can get dents pulled out, and it's not exactly body work. They're not putting Bondo, slapping Bondo on and straightening everything out. But there's guys who can just kind of massage dents out from the inside with these special tools and get them like 90% there, and it's much nicer than you were imagining. Like I've seen them.
I have this new friend, the general contractor, and prior to that, he's done a bunch of jobs. Like he used to make trailers, and I don't know, he's some sort of amateur motorcycle racer, but he used to do body work, and yeah, he can name you the price on like every one of these panels. Apparently, they just stamp them cheap in China. He's like, for that, like that rear, I'm sure he'd replace it and be $150. And he used to paint them. He says
that's a good point.
He paints them. I know your father paints them expertly. I think he doesn't. He like tries to find a day that's not that windy, you know. And or maybe does your father paint himself?
Oh my god.
Here we are.
And we're live.
Here we go.
Just really kicked it off there.
Oh, and we're live.
He's like, let's go.
Exactly
let's
what you
do
would
this.
say.
Oh, we're live, Kyle.
Go 2 days without drinking, and then save up enough for the real alcohol, so that you don't have to drink.
Well,
like
I can't, Taylor. I can't even go a day
What are these
without
people
drinking.
doing?
I got the shakes today, Taylor.
A little sensitivity.
Give me
Taylor.
that antifreeze, asshole.
Like,
Stop hogging the windshield wiper fluid.
Does antifreeze taste good? I think
It tastes
used
sweet.
to, and it
I
does.
heard
It used to taste sweet,
yeah.
and they fixed that, and it no longer does. So now we don't crystallize little puppies' livers.
What tastes
Yeah,
good is battery
that's
acid.
what-
That still tastes good.
I don't think
Really?
that's true at all.
Oh, it's totally.
I would
true.
think it
guarantee
tastes like
you.
fire and pain.
It would taste like fire and pain.
battery acid. It's outstanding.
I've gotten it on my hands before. It
Yeah,
hurts so
I do
much.
too. It's like addicting. Like you get it.
Don't listen to this, anyone. He's lying to you.
I know.
Where they're doing it. It's like, up next, everyone knows the story of someone addicted to acid. Matt Woodworth from North Carolina takes it another step. And then it just shows like your dimmed out face with the dark voice, and they're talking like, well, I just remember the first time I ever had acid on my hand. I just took a lick and I couldn't get enough. Then it transitions, go deeper into Woody's addiction.
I don't understand this experience that you're describing.
Neither
Woody.
do I.
It's okay. So battery acid is sulfuric acid, right? And we all know what acids taste like. They taste sour.
Yeah,
but,
like a
lemon
Sour
juice.
Patch Kid almost.
Yeah, but it's sulfuric acid.
Just eat a Sour Patch Kid. Go
Like-
back, it's not the... Or even more blues would be to let in like 5 goals and lose by 2. But yeah.
Fire hazard. Fire hazard. She was raised by a fireman, and
Oh, did you bring him back in there?
just the empty.
A Bible tale, a story of.
You know I
biblical-
do. Oh, I thought you were asking to end the call.
We talked about Elisha some last week. You guys remember? He's one of the Jew wizards known as prophets from the Old Testament who magic things. He's the guy who they called him bald head, all the children, in the town. And then he summoned the 2 bears to slaughter the children and told them, that'll show you to be a little snarky from now on. And so that seemed like an Am I the Asshole story where he was totally an asshole. And so I wanted to even it out a little bit. Like Elisha couldn't have been that bad. God gave him superpowers. And so here's a better side of Elisha. So and it's a more obscure Bible tale, so a lot of people won't know this one. So there's a guy named Naaman, and Naaman was a general for Syria, or Assyria, whatever the fuck it was back then. And they didn't get along great with Israel. If you read the Old Testament, it's pretty much just over and over of Israel being like, and then we ran into the Moabites, and they were total assholes until we conquered them. And then we ran into the Ammonites, and even bigger assholes till we conquered them. And just kind of that story. But they weren't getting along at the time, and Israel had the lower hand. He was more powerful. And this guy, Naaman, had leprosy. And leprosy, obviously, very bad. I don't fully understand how you can be like a general and have leprosy, because I feel like it's super, super contagious and anybody would get it. But he did. He had leprosy, and he wanted to try and get it cured. They tried everything, honey rubs, goat milk, all the things, all the classics, and nothing worked. And so he goes to his king, I'm going to go seek out the king of Israel, because that dude has this guy Elisha in his bench, and he's magic. He's an actual magic man who might be able to save me from leprosy. So I'm going to go give it a go. And so this guy reaches out to the king of Israel and goes, hey, I'm coming over. Don't panic. Just coming over for a bit. if you could hook me up with Elisha and try and heal me, that would be awesome. And the king of Israel was like, this is so shady bullshit. Like, there's no way he's coming over. He's going to come try and conquer us. And Elisha overhears the message that was sent to the king of Israel and goes, hey, just send him straight to me. Just send him straight to me. It's going to be fine. Send him to my little hovel, my hobbit home, wherever I live. And so this guy, Naaman, brings gifts, chariots, gold, spices, all the stuff that you want back in the day. And he shows up at Elisha's house, waiting there. He's got leprosy. The boils are so sore. He's been walking over the desert all day. Imagine doing that in bullshit sandals and covered in pustules and boils with necrosis occurring on your little appendages. And he's waiting out there, waiting, Elisha, are you coming out? Elisha, sitting in there, tells his servant to go out and tell him, hey, I'm not available. I got a lot of stuff going on right now, so I'm not coming out. You're not going to see me. Just go bathe in the Jordan River 7 times, and you'll be fine. And Naaman is pissed. He's like, I just brought look at how many people are here right now, and how many chariots and how many things. I brought all of this just to be like, he told him, like, I expected you to come out and wave your hands and place hands on me and get rid of this leprosy, and instead you tell me to go take a dunk 7 times in a dirty river miles from here. It's ridiculous. I'm going home. And so Naaman's about to head back. And of course, apparently one of his servants had seen a Netflix series at one point, because he's like, no, dude, this is obviously like a woo gotcha kind of thing that he's doing. So let's give it a go. We're going to stop at the Jordan River on the way back. Either way, we have to cross it. Just dunk yourself. Fuck. And so they get to the river. He dunks himself 7 times and he comes out pristine, clean as ever, completely cured. And he is he's elated. He tries to send all the gifts to Elijah, so just give it to him. I don't care what he says. Just make sure that guy gets it. This is the best. Like, I'm not going to die. I'm great. Like, praise to the Israel God. Sends him all the gifts. And Elisha again says, no, I'm not taking any gifts. Take him back. And so Naaman's like, whatever, dude, fine. And so he takes all the gifts back, brings him home. The guy doesn't have leprosy. What, Elisha's servant then does is some really sketchy bullshit. He goes to Naaman and says, that whole gift thing, hilarious story. He thought that you wanted a gift from him, and he said he didn't have one, but we definitely want all those gifts. We want all of them. All those gifts you brought the other day, I'll lead him back there. I'll bring him back, okay? And Naaman's like, okay, cool. Yeah, I trust you. You just saved my life, so take it. Take the chariots and the gold and whatever, and keep it. And this guy, Elisha's servant, ends up keeping all of it from Elisha and doesn't tell him that he took that gift. And so this guy's now loaded off of his ass, off of a bunch of stuff that he didn't do for Elisha. Elisha, of course, is a wizard of sorts, a prophet, and so he figures this out. I don't know what the servant thought he was going to do by pulling the wool over this guy's eyes, who just cured leprosy. He just cured somebody's leprosy, and he's like, this is the guy to screw. Like, fuck this guy. And so he gets it. Elisha finds out, brings him in. It's almost like he's getting fired, where you get called into the office and it's quiet and it's, we've had a lot of discussions in the past about issues of behavior. You've read our code of conduct and our ethics policy. You know how we do things here at Jews Incorporated, and this is not how we do it. And the servant, expecting just to get fired or let go, like, oh, I can't help this old wizard man anymore with his daily duties in between curing people. And Elisha flips the script and goes, actually, you're going to get leprosy. And he goes, actually, no, that's not it. All of your descendants will have leprosy. Now get out of my house. And so this servant, for stealing stuff, gets venge leprosy from a prophet, and that's not even enough. It's, if you do manage to get laid with your necrotic leprosy cock, that kid's popping out like, covered in welts and boils and whatnot. Like, your whole livelihood is ruined. It's all for nothing. And there's no chapter in later books where they revisit it and they say, you know what, it's been years. You've learned your lesson, haven't you? And he goes, my tongue fell out, but and then he goes, okay, fine. They cure him. Like, no, it doesn't happen. They just let him die of leprosy. So really, he didn't even cure leprosy. He just transferred it to another soul.
That's what
Now,
happened.
at the start of it, you said, "Hey, I'm going to paint Elisha in a kinder light." I'm not sure
If you
did
cut out
that.
the last few lines, it's as positive as Elisha gets. Those Old Testament prophets, like the stories they tell you about them in Sunday school, are not the interesting stories with those prophets. They'll tell you the ones of like, oh, and then he came out and he, there's blindness, and he put his hands on the guys and the scales fell from his eyes and he was able to see once more. They never tell you the fun shit about bears attacking the children or vengeful leprosy given out by a madman who won't accept gifts from an enemy general who he cures of leprosy. You take off like the last 15, 16%, they're very uplifting.
Yeah, those always end really harshly. It's almost like some Roman senator came back later and put something in there to frighten the masses.
Yes, fluoride.
Fluoride. That makes them gay.
Fluoride. That's why all these
That's
senators
Senator
are
Alex Jones, I believe,
Senator Alex Jones.
from the great state of...
Or Jesse the Body Ventura.
I love that.
Elisha never cured that leprosy. It's a rumor. Started by the establishment to let them take full control of healthcare in this country.
When she came in, these two were pretty much working for food.
How were they working for food?
Just
does
clean
that
up
mean?
this nasty ass room.
Nice.
Basically, I had them clean the office for a meal,
Hey,
and she called us in between that.
Yeah, get some POV.
The Merle Man.
The Merle Man.
Look at these guys. Look at these guys.
Look at this, the Merle Man. Oh shit! It's the stupid tax.
Everybody gets the lottery.
All right. Yeah, let's scratch him off. All right. Yeah, good luck with that, man. Good luck.
Wow.
Good luck to you, sir.
I've always
Scratch
heard
well.
I want 4.
You want $4?
12. Fuck.
So he won
Lost
4 and he
12.
and lost 12.
I think he's got to go back to the store too to get some more free tickets.
Yeah, he's got $4. Keep rolling those dice until he has none.
A potential candidate this past weekend for Cool Guy of the Week.
Okay.
Now, I went to the zoo with
Oh,
my
real life
girlfriend,
person.
and yeah, real life person that I saw just in passing. I was at the zoo with my girlfriend and another couple, and we were just hanging out, walking around. And this was right as we arrived. So we were walking towards the fucking penguin exhibit or whatever, where we were supposed to meet him. And at the entrance to the St. Louis Zoo, there's a bunch of little, you can get your caricature or you can get your face painted for kids. Like, I want to be a lizard or whatever. And I was walking by the caricature booth, and there's this guy sitting there doing the caricature. And there's a girl sitting there, a young girl, maybe like 6 to 8 years old, very young and very fat. And I can see what he is drawing. And he drew a straight up pig snout and pig ears on this girl. And I was halfway tempted to be like, babe, can we stick around so we can see the reaction here? Because there's this smiling little fat girl, and he's got a big pig nose on her and pig ears. And that guy, I wish I could have stopped him and shook his hand. That is so fucking funny. A little dose of reality.
Yeah, if she doesn't want to buy that.
Yeah, if she doesn't want this, can you hold it for me? It's like,
That's just terrible.
It's my last day.
big
What part of how much of your body do you need to lose till you just wish you had died? Like, what if you lost your feet? Would you still want to live?
Yeah.
What if you lost your hands?
I don't know.
Oh no, a world without self-pleasure. We've just defined it.
No, you can grease up the nubs.
Not just the world
I
without.
don't think
well,
I can do
it's a
the
different
hands.
kind of
The hands would
self-pleasure,
probably get me suicidal. I mean, I could probably go without the legs.
In the audience who put like a lefty is racist like iPhone app things. And
Yeah, it was like a scrolling billboard. It was a crowd shot after the COD championships had wrapped, and because you can see him. He's looking around, and then he noticed the camera is panning onto the crowd, and he looks down at his phone, and then he holds it right up, and the camera says it, and it scrolls, "Lefty is racist."
This is it. This is our while Woody pulls up the video for the stream. This is the video that I want from you guys. I want you to write "Lefty is racist" somewhere very prominent and film it for us. I don't want you to do anything illegal. That's not what I'm telling you to do. But if you perhaps own a billboard, something like that, and you could maybe put Lefty is racist on it, something like that, maybe a big sign that you hang out in the streets, maybe a banner, maybe you reprogram one of those road signs that says, you know, construction ahead, maybe it says Lefty is a racist. I want that. Tell you what, the best video, and it has to be a good one, if there's one that everyone here agrees is really good, $50. I'll lay down $50 for the best video.
Maybe
All
if
right,
you hate your fast
there you
food
have
job,
it. I just paid.
you could put the billboard at McDonald's says Lefty is racist.
Yeah, you get dude, if you get the billboard at McDonald's to say Lefty is racist, I'm sure a bunch of you work at McDonald's. Just get it to scroll Lefty is racist, film it with your iPhone, then maybe you could change it back later, maybe not.
So I have a top now. I think I'm Mexican. I think I've told this on the podcast before. Have I ever said this?
I haven't heard it.
I haven't heard this. I remember your father being a sex addict.
Oh, dude.
But was he
true.
a Mexican sex addict? I didn't remember that part.
Dude, so I had this assignment this is like 4th grade or something, 7,000 years ago. And I asked my mom what we were, like, you know, what's our heritage and etc. My father will tell that I am part Mexican, and it's the reason.
But please finish.
It's the reason that Lefty doesn't like me.
Oh, come on! You have what do you have a deep conflict with?
You. That's
With the lifeguard, you like to let people go almost drown themselves before you come out.
I fucking love that. Yeah. I was a really good like life-saving machine, but I was a horrible I would when I was a lifeguard on the beach, I would just let them go out. Just let them go. People would be, you know, can I go to that sandbar? I would dare them. Go ahead, go. Just hoping that they start to drown, and it improves my day. Early access to PKA. And it's especially early this week. It's Tuesday as we record this. I don't know if we're going to make it available on Tuesday or Wednesday or what we're going to do. But you guys get early access to PKA before this Saturday.